Welcome to Catholic Culture Audiobooks, a production of CatholicCulture.org and under the patronage of St. John Henry Newman. Today's reading, Magnificat, the Third Great Ode by Paul Claudel. Translated by Jonathan Geltner. Narrated by James T. Majewski. My soul makes great the Lord. Oh, the long bitter roads of before, and the long time I was one and alone, that long walk in Paris, descending to Notre Dame. Like a young athlete racing toward the finish line in the midst of the others, urged on by friends and coaches, and yes, at the start a teammate whispers in his ear or wraps a band around his injured muscles. But alone, I went among the hurrying feet of my gods. Fewer murmurs in the forest at midsummer around the feast of St. John the Baptist, a smaller chorus of bird-song in Damascus when the water descending from the high country in tumult is united with the sighing breath of the desert, and the high plane trees tremble in the evening air, fewer and less than the words in this young heart filled with desires. My God, a young man, born of woman, is more pleasing to you than a young bull. I stood before you a wrestler, not believing myself feeble, but that you were the stronger. You have called me by my name, as one who knows it truly. You have chosen me among all those of my generation. My God, you know how tenderness fills the heart of youth, how it would not cleave to its protector or to vanity. You awed and whelmed Moses with your presence, but you dwell in my heart as one without sin. Oh, I am indeed the son of woman. For trained rationality, the lessons of schoolmasters, absurdity, none of that holds a wick to the violence of my heart or the reaching arms of this infant that has been given to me. Tears, and heart too weak, face streaked with tears, come, you faithful, and let us adore this newborn baby. Do not believe me your enemy, he cries, for I understand nothing, see nothing, and know not where you are. But I turn to you this face covered in tears. Who would not love the one you love, new child? My spirit has exulted in my Savior. Come, faithful, and let us adore this little one who is born to us. And now I am no longer starting out, no debutante, but a man in the middle of his life, savvy enough, one who stops, stands upright, and with great strength and patience looks around on all sides. And with this spirit and clamor you have placed in me, see how I have made many words, invented many stories and characters, all together in my heart with their different voices. And now, the long debate suspended, here, now, I listen to you alone. Another who begins to sing with the plural voice, like the violinist, bowing double stops and whole chords. Since I have nothing for my sojourn here but this plain of sand and the uninterrupted view of the 7 crystal spheres of heaven, you are here with me, and at my leisure I will make for you a beautiful song, like the shepherd on Carmel watching clouds drift. In this month of December, in this deep frost, when every embrace is tightened and the night brilliant, the spirit of joy enters into my body no less direct than when the word was spoken to John in the desert, in the time of Caiaphas and Anne, when Herod was tetrarch. My God, who speaks to us with the self-same words we speak to you, you no more despise my voice in this day as one of your children, or of Mary herself, your servant, when in the excess of her heart she cried to you, for you had considered her humbleness. O Mother of my God, Woman of all women, you have arrived to me as if after a long voyage, and now all the generations within me call you blessed. As soon as you enter, Elizabeth, she who was called barren, is already in her 6th month. She knows. She turns to you. How my heart is heavy with praises, and it is hard to lift it to you. As the hanging censer of gold, filled with incense and embers, in an instant drops to the end of its chain and swings, up and down it goes, leaving in its trail a thick cloud of smoke shot through with sunlight. May the noise within me fashion a voice, and may the voice fashion speech. In all this stammering cosmos, let me prepare my heart like one who knows what he has to say, because this profound exaltation of the creature is not vain, nor this secret that the celestial myriads guard with exact vigil. May my speech be the equal of their silence. Neither this goodness of things, nor this eerie thrill of hollow reeds, when from the archaic burial mounds between the Caspian and the Aral Mountains the Mage King was witness to a great preparation in the stars, but may I find only just speech. May I only breathe that word of my heart, having discovered it at last, and may I die upon speaking it, and may my head then bow low, like a priest who expires in consecration. Be blessed, my God, who have delivered me from idols, who have made me to adore you alone, and not Isis or Osiris, or justice, or progress, or truth, or divinity, or humanity, or art, or beauty, all these abstractions which you have not permitted, nothing, nor even to adore the void left by your absence. They know less of reality than the Indian paddling his canoe in far-flung forest wilderness, rearing his totem in stone or wood, the idolaters and preachers of such abstractions, superfluous and insubstantial, more cruel and emptier than Moloch, devourer of infants. These words are sound without voice, name without person. The unclean spirit is in them, which fills deserts and all empty things. Lord, you have broken the bonds even of books and ideas, of idols and their priests, and you have not permitted Israel to suffer the yoke of the effeminate. I know you are not the God of the dead, but of the living. I shall not honor phantoms or puppets, whether duty or freedom, nor Diana, nor any resplendent god, nor some sacred cow. And your geniuses, your heroes, your great men and supermen, these are all one horror, equally disfigured. For I am not free among the dead. I exist among the things that are, and I constrain them to hold me indispensable. I desire not to be superior, but to be just as you are perfect, just and living among the other spirits that are real. What do your fables matter to me? Only let me go to the window and open the night, and let burst upon my eyes in a single instant figure the innumerable stars that are my constant necessity. You have given us the great night after the day that passes, the reality that is nocturnal sky. As I am here, it is there, its myriad presence like an inimitable signature, telltale fingerprint. The observer finds where the sky pivots those bright gemstones that make Hercules or Alcyone, every constellation like the crown of a pontiff studded with precious stones. And here and there, to the ends of the world, where the labor of creation still goes on, nebulae like the sea that, violently beaten and stirred, returns to calm, though still foam flies on every horizon among great swaths of roiling salt water. Even so, the Christian, in the sky of faith, senses the wild pulse and pattern of an eternal feast of all saints, his ever-living brothers and sisters. Lord, it is not lead or stone or rotting wood itself you have enrolled in your service, and no one can fortify herself in the likeness of him who said, I will not serve. It is not death that vanquishes life, but life destroys death, and death cannot stand against life. You have thrown down every idol. You have deposed kings and princes from their thrones, and asked and taken for your servants the fires themselves. As when spring breaks up the ice in the harbor, and the crowd of travelers, dark-clad and agitated, covers the quays, so the teeming stars to my eyes, and the measureless, moiling heavens. I am taken and cannot escape, like an inevitable sum. It is time. For the task that has been devolved to me, only eternity would suffice. And I know that I am responsible, for I believe in my Master as he believes in me. I have faith in your word. There is no need between us for official papers, proper documentation. This is why we slough off the chains of dreams and trample idols underfoot and embrace the cross with the cross. For the image of death makes death, and the imitation of life makes life, and the vision of God engenders eternal life. Be blessed, my God, who have freed me from death. Thus, unveiled with great cries, sang Mary, sister of Moses, on the far shore of the sea that had swallowed Pharaoh. For look at the sea behind us. For you have received Israel as your child, remembering your mercy. You have made him climb up to you, extending your hand to this humbled, unhappy one, like a man who climbs from battlefield trench. Behind us the sea is confused, waves choking waves, yet your people have taken the shortest way through it with dry feet, behind Moses and Aaron. The sea behind us, and before us the desert of God, full of mountains, ghastly beneath lightning. By turns the lightning reveals and conceals the mountain, and it is like a leaping ram, or like a colt bucking beneath a too heavy rider. Behind us the sea that swallowed the persecutor, men and horses alike, armed and armored, fallen in the depths like ingots of lead. Like that first Mary, so in the little garden in Hebron the Mary who trembled within when she saw the eyes of her cousin who stretched forth her arms, and saw that patient Israel knew she was the one. As you drew Joseph from the well and Jeremiah from the pit, even so you saved me from death, and now I cry out, for great things he has done for me, and holy is his name. You have put in my heart the horror of death. My soul harbors no tolerance for death. Savants, Epicureans, masters of the novitiate of hell, practitioners of the way of nothingness, neither Brahmin nor bronze nor philosopher, your counsels, Egypt, your methods, demonstrations, and discipline, nothing reconciles me. I am living in your abominable night. I lift my hands in despair. I lift my hands in the trance and transport of deaf, savage hope, who no longer believes in God, no longer believes in being, and who hates being, hates his own existence. Lord, I have found you. Who finds you has no more taste for death. With you, and with that intolerance, a flame you have placed within him, he interrogates each thing. Lord, you have not set me apart like a tender flower protected in a greenhouse, like the monk, dark under his hood, but who flowers each morning in gold for mass at the rising of the sun. But you have planted me stoutly in the thickness of the earth, like the dry and tenacious and invincible wheat grass thriving across the vast and ancient loess, even in plains of sand. Lord, you have planted in me the seed not of death, but of light. Suffer me lightly, for I am not one of your saints, chewing hard and bitter bark in my penitence, devoured by good works as an onion is devoured by its roots, so weak, this seed within me. You would think expired, yet here it is, lively still, It does not cease its work, its chemistry, in long patience and time. It is not only this body I must overcome, but the whole raw world, and I must furnish what I need to comprehend, dissolve, assimilate it within you, and no longer see anything that resists your light within me. There are those who see and hear by eye and by ear, but I look and listen by the Spirit alone. I will see by this dark light. What does the thing seen matter compared to the eye that makes it visible to me? And what is the life I receive if I do not give it back? And everything that is strange and foreign to me, and everything that is other than you, even this death I must die, what is any of that compared to your life, which they say is our life? I am exhausted by vanity. You see, I am conquered by vanity, not wishing for it. Why do I look on your works with no pleasure? Don't speak to me of the rose. No fruit any more holds taste for me. What is this death that you have taken from me when placed alongside the truth of your presence? And what is this indestructible nothing that I am, which must bear you? Oh, length and length of time. I am worn out, can do no more, like one who would fall without a wall to lean against. Day follows day, but here is the day when the sun stops. Here is farewell to summer. Here is winter's rigor, the trance and seizure of stillness. I prefer the absolute. Do not give me back to myself. Here is unyielding cold, God alone. In you I am before death, and see, already the year begins anew. Once, if I remember right, my soul seemed to me a great forest. The moment I ceased speaking, I never failed to hear a people with more murmuring voices than history or the novel can contain. And soon it is morning, or Sunday, and we hear the bell tower, too, among these people of my fantasy. But now the winds from all directions have fallen silent, and the leaves settle in thick masses all about me. I try to speak to my soul. Oh, my soul, all the countries we have seen, and the peoples, and the sea how many times crossed. And she, my soul, is like one who knows and prefers not to respond. I speak to her of the enemies of Christ surrounding us. Take up your arms, warrior. But I'm like a child tormenting a scorpion with straw and can't even get its attention. Peace. Rejoice. And say, wordlessly my soul makes great the Lord. She would no longer be a boundary, and she would be no obstacle to his holy will. It is necessary. No longer summer. There is no more green, nor anything passing, but God alone. Look at the countryside, how it is bare. The earth is everywhere emptied, like an old man who's done no wrong. There it is, solemn, resembling death, preparing to be ordained for another year of labor, like the priest prone between two assistants, or the deacon about to receive full orders. And the snow descends upon the earth like absolution. I know, and I remember, and see that forest again, the day after Christmas, before the sun had climbed high. All was white, like a priest in white vestments, only his hands visible, the color of dawn. The whole wood, as if caught in the thickness, the material of darkened glass, white from the trunks to the thinnest branches, and the dead leaves color of roses, pines the green of almonds. Quietly, like wine, the air decanted through long hours of night, of peace, and a large spider-web, draped in frost-like down, witnessed to the prayerful stillness of the soul. Whoever shares the will of God must also share his silence. Be with me wholly. Let us together fall silent to all eyes. Whoever gives life must accept death. Be blessed, my God, who have delivered me from myself, who keeps me from placing my well-being in myself, in the narrow dungeon where Teresa saw the damned enclosed, but in your will alone, in no other good or well-being but your will alone. The happy man is not the free man, but the one you place securely, like an arrow in the quiver. My God, who established fatherhood from the beginning of all and from yourself, be blessed for this child you have given me, and for giving me the means by which to give back this life you have given me. For I am his father along with you. It is not I who engender, nor I who am engendered. Be blessed, because you have not abandoned me to myself, but you have accepted me as something that will serve, good enough for the end you devise. You have no more fear of me as you do of the rich and the proud whom you send away with nothing. You have put your power in me, power which is your humility, your power to make yourself nothing for the sake of your works. In this hour of his generation, when man remembers his earth, here I have become, with you, principle and beginning. As you needed Mary, and Mary needed the line of all her ancestors before her soul could magnify you, before you could receive from her glory in our eyes, even so you have needed me in my turn. So you have desired, O my Master, to receive life from me, as from the hand of the consecrating priest, and you have placed yourself in this image I hold in my arms, this image that is real. Be blessed, because I do not remain unique. Existence has come of me, the quickening of this immortal child, and because in this image that is forever real, this soul joined to a body, you received shape and dimension from me. It is no lifeless weight of stone I hold in my arms, but a little human being, crying and waving arms and legs. And here I am reunited with ignorance, with the generations of nature, and ordered to an end strange to me. You, newly arrived, I may look on you at last. You, my soul, at last I can see your face. Like a mirror I've just withdrawn from God, and still holding no image but his. From me has been born something other. From this body a soul has been born, and from this man that I am, exterior and visible, comes something secret and feminine that yet resembles me. Oh, my daughter, small child like my essential soul, and whom I must come to resemble in my turn, when desire by desire shall be purified. Be blessed, my God, for in my place a child is born, without pride, and so in the book, in the hard and pretentious poet, a virginal soul, with neither body nor defense, wholly giving and welcome. Yes, there is born from me something new, yet with strange resemblance. To me, and to the deep roots of all my ancestors, a new being is born. We have been necessary, each in her generation. It is the special will of God that has prepared the blood and the flesh of every man and woman. Who are you, newcomer, stranger? And what will you do with what belongs to us? I see in the certain color of your eyes how you position our heart in a certain place. O child, born on foreign soil, little heart of the rose, bundle fresher than a bouquet of white lilacs, who awaits you but two old people in a half-ruined house? But waiting for your baptism are 3 bells in the same bell tower which rang for your father and grandfathers. Bells like angels or girls of 14 years at 10 in the morning, when every garden is balmy and the birds are singing in French. And waiting for you in the sky is a bright star over the bell tower, among the other stars like a pater among the little aves, when dusk is dying out. And look, over the church are 2 weak stars, like the Virgin's Patience and Evodia. Something is changed between me and men, for I am the father of one of them now. Whoever has given life cannot hate it, and he cannot say that he does not understand it. As no man comes from himself, no man is for himself alone. Flesh begets flesh. The man and woman make the child who is not only for them, and the Spirit makes the word addressed to other spirits. Like the new mother, burdened with milk for the child, so the poet with the word within him addressed to others. O vacant eyes of the ancient gods, eyes that can never reflect the image of a little child, in vain supplication we embrace your knees. Fierce statuary at the back country crossroads, you have something more to confide in the one who seeks and beseeches you than your blood and the oath carved in Celtic stone. Blood mixes with blood, spirit marries spirit, and the primitive idea finds its way into written thought as pagan passion is transfigured in reasoned, ordered will. Whoever believes in God, God believes in him. Have the Son, and so take the Father with him. Seize close the living text, your living God in this breathing book. Pluck the fruit that belongs to you, this word spoken to you alone. You are happy if you carry the life of others within you, not their death. Like a fruit ripening in time and place, your thought its nourishing fuse. You are like the father who divides his wealth among his children, like a tree plundered to the last fruit. And this is the magnificence of God, who satisfies the hungry with the goods he has made. Be blessed, my God, who have led me to this land of my afternoon, as you made the 3 magi pass through ambush and treachery in the lands of tyrants, as you led Israel through the desert. You have led me as one who makes a long and difficult climb, and at last prepares to descend the far slope. Moses died upon the mountain, but Joshua entered the land promised to him, and all his people with him. After the long climb, stage after stage through snow and icy cloud, the climber begins to descend, holding his horse by the bridle. His women ride behind him, and the children in packs and materials of war in camp, and the tables of the law come after. And he hears behind him in the fog the sound of a whole people marching. He sees through the mist the sun rising, still no higher than his knee, like the faded stain of blood on cotton. And suddenly the whole promised land appears to him in flashing light, like a young girl's, green and glinting with streaming waters, like a woman stepping from the bath. Here and there in the bottom of the humid valley, great white vapors rise lazily, like fat vessels loosing their moorings, or like giants' wineskins. No curiosity or surprise shows on his face, and he does not look at Canaan but for the foothold for his first descending step. His intention is not for Canaan itself, but to follow your will. That is why, followed by all his people, he emerges in the sunrise. He did not need to see you atop Sinai. No doubt or hesitation dwells in his heart, and whatever is not contained in your commandment is nothing to him. Idols hold no beauty for him. Satan holds no interest. He knows there is no being in things which are not. The humility with which he halted the sun, the modesty with which he measured the tribes and everything that was given to him, that land of your promise, palpable. So let me invade your abode, intelligible, now in this afternoon hour. For there is no prize or joy, no property or arrangement of affairs that compares to the insight of the poet who makes of disparate things one thing with him. To understand is to refashion that which we have taken within ourselves. Evening approaches. Stay with me, my lord. Do not let me go the way of Voltaire and Renan, Michelet and Hugo and the rest of the scabrous crew. Their souls are with those of dead dogs, and their books are fit only for the dung heap. They are dead, and their names now are no more than symbols of poison and decay. For you have scattered the proud, and they cannot come together again, nor can they understand. They can only destroy and dissipate, and they cannot create, only assemble things, parts that do not make a whole. Let me see and hear all things by the word, and hail each thing by its own true name, with the word which made and makes it. You see that earth, which is your innocent creature. Free her of the yoke of the infidel and the impure. Was it not for you that she was made? Free her, the earth, by my mouth. With this praise I owe you. She is like a pagan yearning for baptism, and may she find the gospel in all directions. As waters that rise in far solitude fall thundering to quench the fields, and as that season approaches which the birds' loud flocking heralds, and the laborer hurries to clear ditches, to seal up the dikes, and open his acres sod by sod with plough and spade, so, as I have been nourished from the earth, may I in turn nourish her, a son feeding his mother. May the parched lands drink up benediction on every side, till it brims over and the water runs red as the clay. Like the water meadow drinks, all sluices open, as Oasis and Huerta drink from the roots of their wheat, as Egypt drinks from the twin breasts of the Nile. Blessing upon the earth, blessing of water upon the waters, blessing upon the tilled fields and upon the beasts, each according to its kind. Blessing upon all men and women, increase and blessing upon the works of the good and upon the works of the bad. Now is not the introit at matins, nor the laudante at sunrise, nor the song of the three holy children. It is the hour to stop and consider what you have done, and how your work is joined to that of the day, and the whole people you contain within you. They assemble for the Magnificat at vespers, when the sun measures the whole earth, before night comes, and the rain, before the long rain down can fall in the night upon the seeded earth. I stand here like a priest in golden robes, upright before the glowing altar, only his hands and face the color of human skin, and tranquil he looks, face to face in the force and fullness of heart, at his God in the monstrance, knowing perfectly you are there and back of the seeming bread. Soon he will take you in his arms, as Mary took you, and mixing among the group in the choir who perform their office in sunlight and smoke, he shows you to the clouded generation that comes, light for the nations of the earth, and salvation for your people Israel, as you promised once to David, remembering mercy, and according to the word you gave our fathers, to Abraham and his seed, down through the centuries. So be it. This has been Magnificat, from 5 Great Odes, by Paul Claudel, translated by Jonathan Geltner, narrated by James T. Majewski, copyright Jonathan Geltner 2020, production copyright 2021 by Trinity Communications. This podcast is brought to you by CatholicCulture.org and made possible by listener support. To donate, please visit CatholicCulture.org/donate/audio. That's CatholicCulture.org/donate/audio.